All right, let's talk about one of the most important things happening in AI right now. It's called Retrieval Augmented Generation, or just RAG for short. And honestly, it's a super clever fix for a really common and kind of frustrating problem we see with large language models. So let's break it down.
First up, a little pop quiz for you. In our solar system, which planet has the most moons? Go on, take a second. You've probably got an answer ready to go in your head, right?
Well, if you were to ask a typical large language model, an LLM, it would probably tell you, with a whole lot of confidence, that the answer is Jupiter. And you know what? For a long, long time, that was absolutely correct. The AI is just remembering what it learned from the massive pile of internet data it was trained on.
But, and this is a big but, that information is totally out of date. The real current answer is actually Saturn, with a staggering 146 confirmed moons. And this right here shows you the problem perfectly. An LLM's knowledge is basically frozen in time. It's stuck right at the point its training data ended. So it can be incredibly confident and completely wrong.
This really gets to the heart of the challenge with these incredibly powerful AI tools. You can almost think of them as a brilliant, super smart robot that also happens to have a terrible memory for new things.
So really, we're talking about two huge problems. First, like we just saw with Saturn, is outdated knowledge. If you ask an LLM about something new, it can't just go look it up. Instead, it might do what we call hallucinating, which is a fancy way of saying it just makes stuff up that sounds believable. The second problem? Private data blindness. An AI trained on the public internet knows nothing about your company's brand new, top secret project or the latest updates to the HR handbook. It just can't see it.
So what's the fix? Well, you could constantly retrain the entire model, but that is unbelievably expensive and takes forever. Or there's a much smarter, more elegant solution. What if we just gave the AI its own up-to-date library to look things up in?
And that, my friends, is the big idea behind RAG. It's a fantastic analogy. RAG is like giving the AI an open book test. Instead of forcing it to rely on old memories from its training, we let it look up the facts from a trusted source right before it gives an answer.
So, if we want to get formal about it, RAG is the process of beefing up an LLM's answer by connecting it to some external, authoritative knowledge base. I mean, the name says it all, right? It retrieves the facts, uses them to augment the question, and then it generates the answer. Simple as that.
Okay, so this whole open book test thing sounds great in theory, but how does it actually work under the hood? Let's get into the mechanics. It's really a two-phase process. Phase 1 is all about prep work. We're building the library. We take all of our documents, company policies, product manuals, the latest news, and we chop them up into smaller, more manageable chunks. Then, for each little chunk, we create a special numerical code for it, called a vector embedding. Finally, we file all these coded chunks away in a special kind of library called a vector database.
So, what on earth is a vector embedding? Well, it's basically how we translate human language into math that a computer can actually work with. But here's the magic part. Texts that have similar meanings get turned into numbers that are really close to each other. This lets the computer search for ideas and context, not just keywords. So a phrase like dogs allowed and pets are permitted would have very, very similar numerical codes. Pretty cool, right?
Okay, so now for phase 2. This is where the action happens. You come along and ask a question. First, your question gets turned into one of those vector embeddings too. Then the system does what's called a semantic search. It zips through the entire library and finds the chunks of text whose meaning is the closest match to your question's meaning. Those top matching chunks get tacked onto your original question, creating this new supercharged prompt. And that is what gets sent to the LLM to generate a final answer that's actually based on facts.
So this is the most important part to remember. The LLM isn't just pulling an answer out of its static, old memory anymore. It's answering based on the fresh, relevant facts we literally just handed to it, combined with your question. It's actually using the open book.
And look, this isn't just some theory or a lab experiment. RAG is already out there in the real world, completely changing how we use AI. Let's look at why it's such a massive game changer. The advantages here are just massive. Your answers are way more accurate because they're based on real, verifiable data. That means way fewer of those weird AI hallucinations. Your system is always current. You just add a new document to the library. No need to spend a fortune retraining the whole model. It can securely use your private internal data.
And all of this makes RAG way more cost-effective than other methods. And maybe the best part? It can actually be trustworthy because it can literally cite its sources and show you where it got the information.
This visual really just nails the point, doesn't it? When you ground the AI in actual data it can check, our trust in its answers goes way up. It's the difference between getting an answer from a mysterious black box and getting one from a transparent, reliable assistant.
And you're already seeing this technology everywhere. Think about smarter customer support bots that can find the exact sentence you need from a giant policy document in seconds, or internal chatbots that can answer super specific questions about your team's projects. This is the stuff that's powering the next wave of genuinely useful AI tools.
At the end of the day, RAG gives an AI the power to read and understand any book we hand it, instantly. It's a huge leap forward in making these models more accurate, reliable, and just plain useful. Which leaves us with a really fun question to think about. Now that the AI can read the book, what will we ask it to learn next?